Hello, people. I don't know who's going to watch. This won't be long. I just feel like coming on and asking a question, really a question. Do you have an obligation to your demographic? Most people don't even think about the term demographic. So, let me go ahead. I got it uploaded. Demographic, relating to the structure of populations. The demographic trend is toward an older population or a particular sector of a population. The drug is popular with a young demographic. So in society, we always try to group and assess people, and due to how uh, the general population views you, they sort you to a demographic, be it young or old, rich or poor, black, white, or Asian, or whatever they want to call you, tall or short, you know, man or woman, or any other gender term people choose to use. Do you have an obligation to your demographic? Right now, this is a chocolate stout, the nothing, and I just wanted to come on here and speak. So sometimes I can say something that's really moving, but a lot of times I just want to make you think. So I asked the question: do you have an obligation to your demographic? What do I owe you because I'm grouped with you? That's the question that I have. I got another question, but I'm gonna do a separate video about it. Um, it's about power and demographics, and uh, I can make a statement or I can ask a question. So I'm gonna throw it out here. Maybe somebody will watch this video and say, give me an answer um, about power when it comes to population and control. Is it more power in finance or is it more power in groups? Um, I have my own idea, but I would love to hear what other people think. And just back to this simplistic title that would be overly complex when people really think about it, but it's not really complex. Um, do you have an obligation to your demographic, your community, your gender, your age, your phenotype, your ethnicity, your race, whatever term you want to use? Do you have an obligation to them? What other, okay, family is related by blood, but do you owe family? That's a question. There's still a certain demographic. Do you owe, some people, I can term because you live in America. Do you owe America? Do you owe black people? Do you owe white people? Do you owe tall people? Do you have an obligation to them? A lot of people feel like because they are part of a demographic, um, they owe them something, even if they did nothing for you. So that's the question that I would love to ask people. Do you have an obligation to your demographic? Do you have an obligation to people who have technically done nothing for you? Or if they have done something for you, do you owe them? And if you think you owe them, why do you owe them? I'm always curious to that. What do you people think? Cheers for everybody who likes to sip on any type of beverage. Um, libations. It'd have been funny if I was, but I didn't. I didn't. Oh man, life is great. It sure is. I'm a person who is quite different, man. I love people who love me, but really, I love everybody. So, I feel an obligation to my demographics of humanity first. Um, my friends I grew up with, people I served with, my group, I'm always with that. And I know how to speak in code. What I mean by that, I mean, people who understand what I'm saying will understand what I'm saying, but I know how not to say anything that you can interpret it any which way. If I said red light, what does that mean? If you understand the code, you get it. I would say green. What does that mean? If you understand the code, you get it. So a lot of people speak in a language that you can't understand. But me, I try to speak clearly and I try to make sure you understand what I'm saying. So I keep it as simplistic. I'm not trying to tell anybody anything or tell people what to believe or how to believe, but I am asking a question. Um, do you have an obligation to your demographic? It's a general question is to any group who wants to answer this. I don't care if you're young, old, tall, short, what group you think you are when it comes to phenotype wise, ethnically or racially or however you view it, or gender wise. I just want to know what people think. Do you have an obligation to your group? You know, I am part of the beer community, craft beer, so do I have an obligation to them? It depends. I'm a Navy veteran. Do I have an obligation to my brothers that I serve with? All depends. I think so. But I grew up in Los Angeles. Do I have obligation to Los Angeles? I'm part of the demographic, part of the Black demographic. Do I have an obligation to them? So that's what I mean. Do you have an obligation to a demographic, or to your demographic, or to any group that you choose to associate with? What do you owe them? Like, if I'm a Target shopper, do I have obligation to Target? See, that's what's so funny. How people try to tell people how they should be and what they should do, but they don't think about the logic of it. Most people look at their feelings and how they emotionally feel something, and they choose to have an obligation to this, but they choose not to have an obligation to that. And it's always weird to me. It's always perplexing to me the way that people think. I think different than most people, and as people know, even this is not a controversial topic. It's really one that will make you think. If you think that you have an obligation to a demographic, first, a demographic is just groups of people, or a number that people use to associate it to a population. That's pretty much what it is, simplistically. It can be sorted by age, it can be sorted by height, location, gender, ethnicity, race, any other term you want to use. Habits, if I'm a surfer, I'm part of the surfer demographic, do I have an obligation to them? And that's the question that people should ask. This is all it is. This is not a complex question to me, but if you really think about what I'm saying, it may be perplexing to you, because most people don't think about things like this. You just, because somebody looks like you, or somebody acts like you, or they have the same hobbies as you do, you immediately say, I owe this person, but what do you owe them? What do you owe them? What makes you owe somebody? And that's the question that I would love to ask people. That's how our brain works. I think I'm extremely simple, but in retrospect, if you were to ever observe the Chuckster, you'd be like, man, he's kind of deep. He's a strange deep one, but he's deep. For people who don't know me, I keep everything extremely basic, but I'm deep in my conversations. So my conversations are not usually, I have an opinion. It's not to dominate you or force my opinion on you. It's to get your view. I want to understand other people. And I think from understanding other people, that's how I grow and I learn. So even now, sometimes it's great when you have a lot of passion, when you're inflamed, when you're enraged, when you say, you're going to think this, you're going to listen to what I say, and you're going to follow me. I don't really think like that. I want you to feel great, but I want to learn and grow, and I want to hear other people's opinion. So I'm gonna share my happiness and my sadness. One thing I love is being under the radar. I love that not too many people notice me. That's great, but in a way, it's sad too, because sometimes I want more interaction. I like to have dialogues with people, so I'm one of those weird ones. I'm one of those people that just really want to go around and really ask people questions, because I don't care. Like, I don't want to offend you. Don't get it twisted. But I don't care what you think about me, about what I'm saying. I just don't want to piss you off, because that's not my intention, especially when I want to learn. I can't promote negativity when I'm trying to get positivity, but because we have such a shield, a lot of people don't even want to interact with people because they're going to assume that you're not positive. I'm gonna tell you why I love this YouTube platform, because I know sooner or later somebody's going to hear what I got to say, and because of what I say, they may say, "Damn, Charles is pretty interesting. Let's start talking to more people, because maybe we'll find another Charles." And that's my hope. I'm always hoping to find people. There's nothing wrong with being opinionated, but I want people that want to have civil dialogues, be able to listen to somebody, even if you don't agree, and ask them, "Why do you think like that?" So I'm asking the question right now: do you have an obligation to a demographic, your demographic, the demographic, whatever you think? And how do you sort that? How do you say who you owe what to? There's a lot of things we can say. Do all men support all men? Do all women support all women? Do all people from a different orientation support each other? Do all people from Australia, no matter how they look, support each other? Do all Americans support each other? I would say they don't, but it's crazy. And what unites people? What unites a demographic? What it was about commonality. So everybody from California should be down for everybody from California, and I think in some ways people are. But overall, I think people don't really think about things like that. They don't think about how they choose, how they separate, how they connect, how they love. And I think it'd be a much more intriguing world if more people thought about why they do what they do. And that's one of my underlying questions. Why do you do what you do? Why do you feel the way you feel? Okay, I'm gonna talk about another sadness. This is not really a sadness, but I think that one thing that's awesome and also sad about YouTube is that because everybody can live stream now, everybody wants to live stream, and everybody has so much to say. I'm different. I'm coming on here really to learn. I want interesting dialogue, and I want to learn what you think, so I can grow and become better Chuck. That's it. And I see it more for fun than I see it from anything else. So sometimes I know a lot of people pop up all day and they say so much. I could do that, but I really want to have something to say. So I'm gonna ask the same question again. what do you owe a demographic? Do you owe your demographic? What makes you connect with people? What makes you not want to connect with people? Um, and what do you owe somebody from your point of view? That's my thoughts. That's all I've had to say. I wasn't going to say much. I appreciate anybody who comes by and checks me out, and I would just love to hear somebody answer the question. If you answer in the chat, it's great. You answer in the comments, great. But since I won't be going on too much longer, I'm about to relax and kick back. That was it. That's what I wanted to ask people. What obligation do you owe to a demographic? However you want to see it, however you think. I would love to hear your opinion. I wish I can get more people to look at my questions and hear what I'm saying, because you're like, dang, that's pretty deep. I never thought of it. But maybe a couple of years from now, I'll be like Joe Rogan with 1 million people like, Charles, this is what I think. And I can come back like, hey, like a mad scientist. I'm joking. I hope everybody feels great. And I've done what I have to say. And you know what? This is my only, how do you say it? My request from anybody who subscribes to me or follows me or have any interest in anything I have to say. Ask me a question and tell me, Charles, what do you think about this? And I will give you my thoughts, because I find that other people's thoughts, if they ask me real questions, not for the shock value, but for something they're really interested in, I would approach the conversation, because it's even more fun when it's something that people really want to learn about. I had a friend, I'm thinking about it, because my friend asked me a question and I got to give it thought, because I don't know how people feel about it, but my friend was like, yo, do you think memes actually say what people really think? And I don't really look at memes like that. And I don't know. I have to think about it, but I would love to know what other people think about that. So maybe that'd be the next pop-up random video I do. So, all right, I'm going to end this now. It was great for me. I'm about to kick back and start my inebriation process. And then, and hopefully I may get motivated to come back on here and say some more silly stuff. All right. Hope everybody feels great. And Pamela, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for stopping by and listening to whatever nonsense I was going to say. And I just asked a question. It doesn't matter. It's all great. I know. I love that you watch me. I watch you all the time. Anyway, all I wanted to ask is, what do you owe a demographic? Do you owe a demographic? I said it. Let me go look. I said, do you have obligation to your demographic? And the demographic is related to the structure of populations, or a particular sector of a population. So you can be young, old, tall, short, any group, any gender, any place is how you can sort people. Because I'm a hoodie demographic. Do I owe something to all the other hoodie wearers? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Since I wear a size 12 shoe, do I owe something to everybody else who wears size 12? Just stuff like that. That's what I think. I just want to know what people think. Hello, Annie. I hope you're feeling great. Brother Jonathan, I hope you're feeling great. Everything is good. I'm just asking a question, and now people are popping up. Do you have obligation to your demographic, a demographic? And a demographic does not always have to pertain to your phenotype, your ethnicity, your race. It can be age, it can be where you live, it can be affiliations of group, it can be style. If you're a hip hop artist, do you have an obligation to other hip hop artists? Really, let's say nobody's did anything for you. I just want to know people's perception on such, and I think it's just an interesting topic. It's not overly complex, but it's real. And I like real topics. I like real questions. I want people to give real interactions. I am not an expert by any means, and a lot of things that I say is for me to learn. And since a couple people are here, oh, Sister Faith, nothing but love. Oh, now you guys make me want to stay. I just want people to answer the question. I'm a little different. Everything for me is just to learn. So, do you owe a demographic? Do you have obligation to your demographic, whatever it may be? Faith, you kind of made me think about this, because you were like saying we support us, and I know we do, but I'm thinking, do most people feel an obligation to whatever demographic that they choose to associate with, be it a YouTuber, be it an Instagrammer, a Facebooker, be it a beer group, or be it a fashion club, or be it Navy veterans or Army veterans, or people from I'll say LA, you know what I mean? Oh man, hold on. Let me read this, because I got it. Okay, can you make me understand? Okay. What I mean by that is, let's use ethnicity, because a lot of people won't talk about that. Let's say I am black. I am black. You guys know this. But let's say I'm a black man and I grew up in a community and there's no black people. But when people categorize me, they say, they categorize you with black people. does that person who's never associated with anybody black, do they have an obligation to their demographic? I'm just asking a question. Or let's say, for instance, I am an American citizen, but I grew up in uh, Pakistan, wherever the hell I grew up, Pakistan, right? I've never been to America, but I'm part of the American demographic. Do I have an obligation to my homeland if I've never interacted with it? Or even if I have? So it's just a question that I would want to know what people think. Um, just because, okay, um, just because you're part of a demographic or part of a group doesn't mean that everybody who's a part of that group is kind and great to you. So do you have any allegiance? Do you owe them anything? Do you have a natural obligation to a demographic? Just like I'm a man, do I have an obligation to be pro man? I mean, I'm just saying if that's a thought. And if you're a woman, do you have an obligation? Because we're women, we just need to stick together. I mean, it's great to think like that, but do you have an obligation? Is it innate? Is it inherent? And I just find it to be an interesting. I got a lot of interesting topics, but a lot of times I think that like something like this will just make you think. It's not an attack. It's not a belittling. It's no right or wrong answer. For me, it's always into delving into somebody's psyche. It's always trying to understand what motivates them, what makes people think that association with certain groups are wrong. So, like whatever it may be, it's yeah. Most people don't. Kind of says this is a good topic. I never thought of it like that before, but we think that. So let's say it's a lot of men. I'm just use men because I'm a man. It's a lot of men that whatever a woman does is it's so why would she say it's so wrong? And they so because a man has never had a problem in his life with women, but he sees a woman attacking the man, so now he's going to side with the man when the man could have been totally wrong. I'm just using that, or because and you see this when it comes to a lot of hatred because you're a Russian and I'm from wherever I'm from. I just hate you. And why? What has anybody ever done to you to garner that type of animosity because they're from a different demographic? So for me, every time I'm dealing with anyone, I'm trying to come up and deal with them from. I'm biased, I'm me, but I'm trying to always be as objective and deal with people on a personal level. I try not to. Like okay, let's say if I was Jewish and I met a Nazi, and I understand the history of what Nazis have done to my group or my community, but should because he's a Nazi, should I just hate him? All right, I'm just making it. You don't even know where he stands or their thoughts, or I'm just making. That's a big like Charles. That's not a good analogy, but it's really to think like that. If your father was a Nazi, but well, my daddy's a Nazi, I'm gonna be a Nazi too. Or could you say, you know what, I'm not gonna be like that. I don't owe you. I mean, yeah, your daddy, I love you, you raised me, but you operate from a point of hate. So because you operate from hate, I don't want to be obligated with that. But then a lot of people say, well, you owe us. We came before you. You know what I mean? Or it's a better way to ask the question, is a son responsible for the sins of the father? And this is something that we talk about in society a lot, but we say it from different things. Or I can I could go deep into this because speaking like this kind of makes me seem like it's kind of political if you think about it. And I got to really give it more deep thought to really elaborate it and make it make sense. But in my brain, I can logically express it, but I don't want to not say it in a way where people can't understand my point. It's like when people say they're taking our jobs. But how are they taking your job? I don't understand that. Did you build a company? Did it kick you out and stay your company? You know what I mean? Didn't the corporation, when they send the business overseas, didn't they take your jobs? You know, let's say there is a job, right? And I'm the employer, and the government is not forcing me to hire you. Really, it says I'm supposed to, but I got to pay you $50 an hour. And here comes a little Jorge or any other Boom Boo from Boo Boo. You know, I'm just making, you don't know what that name is. I'm just making it up. But Boom Boom from Boo Boo will come and work for 15 cents because 15 cents in this country is more than everybody else making a year. Is he taking your job, or is he taking the job that's there because the government is not enforcing them to not let them hire Boom Boom from Boom Boom for 15 cents? So, I mean, a lot of stuff is perplexing. A lot of stuff is over my head. Even when I try to frame it in a way that it would make sense, I think that even though it's basic, it's really a complex situation that most people have not thought about. They says, I don't think you should be obligated, but I'm sure our answers would want us to know the struggle so that we could be a factor in life, period. No one should be obligated, period. It should be your decision. I understand that, but there's a lot of things called external peer pressure that forces people to do certain things. And most people want to fit in, and most people want to connect. And I think the need to connect, even if you don't agree with it. That's why I think it's only, let's say it's 1,000 people. Usually out of 1,000 people, it's probably 6 to 10 people that motivate those whole 1,000 people, and the other 980 are innocent of no crimes. But those 10 people can really be detrimental to the whole group. So it's a lot of people think they make their own decisions, but they're really influenced heavily by decisions of others. And because of that, like it's term is propaganda, influence, peer pressure, all that can make you think a certain way. Man, you guys made me want to dive in because I thought I was going to just be in here, but I love the interaction. So that's crazy for me. I think you form your own opinion, but like I say, for instance, everybody's from America. Um, would you eat dog? None of you probably would eat dog. But somebody from a different culture who's been taught a different way, who's influenced by peer pressure that's externally, will eat dog. Just like if you go to India, they will not. Summer. What's going on, Summer? SM Gamer, my favorite Fortnite. Keep your head up. Do not get angry at your coworkers. You are too awesome. Life is great. Your life is going to be fantastic. You see, I see you. I always got to shout you out, Summer. SM Gamer. Subscribe to SM Gamer. I get it. I get it. But subscribe to everybody. That's what you want to do. I hope everybody subscribe. Everybody wants to subscribe. Be happy. But anyway, I think that a lot of people think that they make their own decisions, but your decisions are so influenced by your environment and by the culture that you're attached to, that a lot of your decisions are social engineering. So like I say, in India, or if you, I think it's Hindu, they don't eat cows, right? So are you in certain countries, you can't spit, or in America, they don't have a problem smoking marijuana. You go to Singapore, and I think is it punishable by death. So you got to think about how much influence do you really have? How original is your thought? How cognizant, how much are you in charge of your own situation? We don't even think about that. How much are we caught up in the system we live in of capitalism? I'm not trying to talk about anything bad about it, but how many people, due to living in this environment, believe that getting over it is the key? I mean, we really do. We want to survive, so we start using money as our primary pleasure, and then we start looking at things that we can buy and things we can garner from the power or the influence of money, that it changes the way that we view the world. So I just noticed this. Why are you not? Oh, it's just a crazy thing, the way that I look at the world. This is cheers. This is a beer here. You know what? I could keep on going. I can really go deep into this. It's so perplexing, the world we live in, that most people don't think about it. I'm always thinking about it from a different perspective. So because I think about it from a different perspective, I'm always saying what I got to say. Anyway, I love that Andy Johnson says, you form your own opinion when you reach a certain age. Are you sure? Are you sure? And is your opinion based off of the way you raise in your environment, or do you just say, now that I'm 21, I'm going to wear a mohawk and put a fake mustache on because this is what I want to do, or I can't do that because it's not a lady like or a man like. Are people going to talk about me? So a lot of people are, due to our environment and what we interact in, we are shaped. And I don't know how free we are, because we only as free as the environment lets us be. But that's my perspective, and I could go really deep, and I'm not an expert. I'm just giving you my biased perspective due to my own social programming. But anyway, people, I've held you up long enough. I would love to hear other people's thoughts. I said a lot. I've done this. I wasn't being real silly, but I went there. So I'll end it, and I appreciate you all just by coming by and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or listen to my silly monologue. And I will talk to you all later.